A pair of whacked-out, cartoon-like exterminator hitmen kill the owner of a burglar alarm company and stalk the partner who hired them, his wife, and a nerd framed for the murder who tells a story in a flashback from the electric chair. Tonight on Survive the Night podcast, we talk about the movie that almost brought down not only Sam Raimi himself, but also the Coen Brothers. We're talking Crimewave.
Don't have much savvy in the ways of the world. I don't know much about impressing the girls. I just know you set my head in a whirl. Won't you be my sweetheart, honey?
All right, welcome back. Man, it is some hot stuff out there. It is a heat wave of crime, as they say. I don't know. We're talking
heat is a crime. Agree.
Heat is a crime. We're talking crime.
It's a crime film. That's the movie Heat.
Yeah,
it's a movie about crime.
Oh man, I wish we had watched Heat. That movie is like great. Instead, we watched a movie that is terrible. Would be kind of an understatement for me. I really did not have a great time watching it.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's extremely bad. Yeah, it's bad. So, okay, you know, when you're a kid, you don't have much money. So every now and then you get like your allowance or whatever. You go to the corner store or whatever, buy a bag of chips or like a candy or something. What if your parents gave you $1,000? You being the stupid idiot kid you are, you're going to go to the candy store and you're going to buy $1,000 worth of candy and think that's a good idea. Crimewave is Sam Raimi's being a stupid kid with $1,000 in a candy store and just doing all the things he thinks is funny and good and making a just complete fucking schlocky piece of shit out of it. That's all it is. It is so fucking bad. What a bad movie. So to
the script in particular, like the writing,
it's incredibly bad. I guess to like just Crimewave is a movie that came out shortly after Evil Dead kind of like made it, and this is their follow-up to it. They wanted to do something completely different. This was written by the Coen Brothers with Sam, because one of the Coen, I can't remember which brother, helped work on Evil Dead and was inspired by Raimi and the Evil Dead to do his own thing, and then they kind of collaborated on this thing.
It was Joel.
Was it Joel? Okay. And this is what they wrote together, and they didn't want it to be... Apparently this was supposed to be more serious-y at some point, but it became less and less serious because they wanted to get further and further away from Evil Dead to show that they could do other things or something. And it is...
closer and closer to its murder.
It is very much... This might... So, like, hot opinion here for the, like 5 people other than us that have seen It's Murder and Crimewave and have opinions on either, I guess. It's Murder shows more promise than this does in a lot of ways. Writing-wise, I should say. This is obviously the better movie because you can see things in it.
Yeah, like there's some stunts and like effect stuff that's way better.
Yeah,
because they have like a budget. But
yeah,
this script is fucking noxious in a way that It's Murders is just bad.
Yes,
like It's Murders is just like, okay, this isn't good, but like whatever. This is kids making a thing. This movie is gross.
This movie's
the main character is fucking awful. I hate him so fucking much.
Yeah. So just as a brief overview, we'll get more into specifics as we go, obviously. Crimewave is a movie about a man who's on death row about to face the electrical chair, and we're kind of getting his I guess, a wraparound or whatever of what happened to get him to that point or whatever, like his life story or the events that unfolded over a single night, basically, to get him to this point where he's being put up for a crime he says he didn't commit. And yeah, we kind of just go back in time, a flashback sequence as he's about to be electrocuted. And we get the story of what happened. And what happened in the very basic terms is a man wants to kill his partner in like his company partner or whatever. So he hires some hitmen who are kind of like bumbling idiots, and a bunch of wackiness ensues. And this guy got blamed for it for no reason whatsoever. We find out at the end, but that's the setup. That's the whole story. It's just about what happens in one crazy night. Holy shit. So I guess right from the get-go, Bruce Campbell is not a starring role in this, even though he was supposed to be originally. So I found that kind of interesting, because this is the exact same thing that, I guess this is just a thing that happens to indie filmmakers who make it. Hollywood tells them, like, your friends suck. We need to put a name on here. So fuck your friends. Because this happens to like everybody that makes it. They have brand new people in the second movie. And that's exactly what happened here. There are some big names in this. Louise Lasser is one of the bigger ones that I knew nothing about until looking into like what she's done. And she's done a bunch of, she did this weird show, Mary Hartman or something. And it's essentially like almost like a Twin Peaksy awkward housewife soap opera, where she's like just kind of has like a day-to-day like family problems and stuff like that. And it's really awkward and not disturbing in the way Twin Peaks is, but that same kind of like uncomfortable feeling the whole time. And I guess it's a comedy, because in the 70s, anything was a comedy that wasn't normal or scary or something. But like, she was a big name. Brian James, who I was trying to put it together in my head for a while. And then I was just like, oh, right. He's the main colonel dude from The Fifth Element, is probably the best way to explain it to people listening. As like, I can't remember even his character's name, as one of the killers or whatever, one of the silly ones. I think Arthur is his name. But other than that, a bunch of these people, this was kind of their breakout role, or as we found out, we both listened to the Bruce Campbell commentary track as well. So
yeah,
for some reason, it wasn't enough to watch this once. Basically, I had to watch it twice. The second time was better, because it was just listening to Bruce talk.
I was playing a video game while
totally
while doing it.
Yeah, totally. Even then, it felt long, though. It is incredible how long this movie felt. There were 5 times where I was just like, okay, let's see the runtime. God, I hope we're at least like 45 minutes in. It's been 13 minutes.
For a movie that's only 86 minutes or whatever, like
it
felt way too long.
Yeah.
Because it's just like fucking pulling teeth the whole way. It's so unfunny. It's that thing of comedy that's not funny. Yeah. It's the hardest to watch.
Yeah, but the thing is that it is that, but it's not trying to be that, so it's worse. If that makes sense, because it's what it's trying to be is a love letter to slapstick and the Stooges, really. There is so much just like them trying to do Three Stooges gags in here that fall flat for me. There's like one of the main characters, they dubbed over his voice because it was better that way. Like he was one of the bigger. I'm just going to call them the exterminators from now on because that's kind of how they're presented. But one of the hitmen is like a bigger dude, and apparently his name is Paul Smith. His voice wasn't like weird enough or something, so they like dubbed over another dude's voice, which means there's just a bunch of parts where he's laughing like and it's so fucking annoying.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
Well, and also apparently like they made like the barest effort to get him in to do his own ADR, but he didn't, so they like immediately replaced him without a second thought.
Yeah, it was actually one of the interesting things I think just overall from listening to the Campbell talk about it is that, yeah, it's bad, but it was also bad for them. They fucking hated making this thing. Apparently it was just absolutely awful for a bunch of reasons. So in some way, like, good, fuck them. I would have been pissed if they're like, no, we had a great time. It's like, well, fuck you. Like, why am I watching this? Like, at least we were all in this together. At least there's solidarity in that none of us enjoyed this process. So thank God. Okay. Let's just get right into it, I guess. So main character's name is Victor Ajax. We kind of go back to a point in time, like maybe the night before, like weeks before or something. I don't really know. They don't really say, I guess, but he's a technician that works in this security company setting up like security systems or whatever. And it's his bosses. One of the bosses is trying to sell the company to the heel, who is actually Bruce Campbell. I don't remember.
In a part that doesn't matter to the story, but it's like bigger than it should be, just because they kept trying to give Bruce as many like lines as they could.
Yeah.
After they moved him off of the main character.
It's interesting because they threw him on just kind of like a one note part, but he wanted, like, Sam wanted his friend in there more because he wrote the main part for him. So they just like threw him in wherever they could. Apparently almost every single hand shot in this movie is him shemping his hands because they didn't want to like pay the actors, or they did a lot of shots after they were done with the actors or what. It sounds like they didn't want to get the actors to do anything more than they needed to because they were pieces of shit to deal with.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, but also like sad. This sucks.
But I mean, what's also weird about it is like the like kind of jerk Bruce Campbell's playing this is like more in line with the characters he would play going forward than this like the really main character he was supposed to be.
This typecast him for sure. He was too good at it. Because he just kind of has that like sleazy car salesman look to him, especially when he's younger. Like he kind of grew into a better look eventually. Yeah, but he
like this is where like nerd Bruce Campbell, the idea of that like goes away. That like they abandoned it from Evil Dead.
Yeah, you definitely see like what he becomes. Just. Again, like you're right in everything, essentially, at some point here. So Victor is a tech at the security company, and it's his bosses who one boss is trying to have the other one killed. And it just goes to shit. I guess that's kind of how he gets wrapped up in. It's just this weird web of like the same 5 people kind of interacting on a normal basis at the beginning and then being kind of like entwined in each other's web or something. Like it starts off with him talking to his boss in the hallway and then helping the main character, Nancy, after she's almost hit by a car or whatever, the car being driven by the exterminators / hitmen. And yeah, this is all kind of the build up of before everything goes to shit. And this is, I will say, the most boring part. The first half an hour in a movie full of like garbage and kind of just like, ugh, let's just get this over with. This is easily the hardest shit to sit through. It's so boring. It is all just set up and talking or whatever. It seems almost like it's going to be kind of good at the beginning. Like, it was silly, but at least they were in a jail cell. They were making kind of funny faces. There were some gags here and there. It's like, okay, I'm feeling it or whatever. And then it's just like boring conversations about how, I need to find his name here. The main character, Victor. Yeah. About how Victor needs to find like a girlfriend or whatever. And then he helps Nancy out, and then he like falls in love with her and asks her out on a date. But that date gets fucked up by Bruce Campbell's character kind of sweeping in and then being a douchebag and leaving her. There's a dance sequence. Like, it's such a fucking mess. It is absolutely atrocious. Bruce Campbell is the best part in the first.
He is.
I don't know.
But like, there's such a like fucking like incel nerd power fantasy to this fucking main character, and like the romance
sucks.
In quotation notes. He sucks so badly.
Yeah, he's really bad.
Like, it makes me hate the movie so much.
Yeah. This apparently like ruined his career too. That dude.
Yeah.
He just wasn't, he didn't get work after this, apparently. Which is really funny. I think Bruce even says something about like he thanks God every day that they didn't allow him to lead in this, because then they look at it and say like he killed that movie. It's like, no, he didn't kill that movie. He didn't help it, but
no. Yeah, he didn't help, but like the script is fucking like toxic garbage. Like, it's so fucking bad.
There's so much, there's weird shit in here that's just like, so this movie came out, I think, in the mid 80s. It was filmed in the early 80s, but it takes place in like the 50s or something. And I'm kind of surprised they got away with some of the like talk that they did. Specifically, they like are pretty, I don't know. They don't say the N word, but they like say some racial shit about like one of the just random characters who's black at some point. There is a whole lot of just weird rapey vibes with the main character.
Yep.
The wife, Helene or whatever, the wife of one of the main dudes, the one who sets up the hitmen in the first place, kind of gets involved, and there's some weird shit with her. Yeah, it is. It's just bad. Like, and it's not funny, I guess, is the thing. It's trying it's so cringy. It's trying, but it just is bad. It's just so poorly written.
Yeah, I mean, like the fucked up, like sexism stuff is just like I don't want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like, you don't want to like even like buy in with like even when there's a cool shot, it's kind of like fucking, I don't give a shit. I don't know. Why are you making me watch? Why did you make this? God, do anything else. Like, anything else.
Are there any shots you're thinking of specifically?
Well, I mean, when the guy gets murdered the first time, that shit at least like looks cool when he like powers up his little machine.
So, I mean, the secret here too is that this movie sucks to watch, but it's not hard to look at. Like, I think the shots and the color and all that, I think it looks kind of good, honestly, in a lot of places. There's some really good Raimi shots. There's good crane shots. There's great, like, weird pastel colors and, like, weird like horror lightning type effects with his stupid shocker machine.
Like when it's being a horror movie, which is like intermittent. Like
that stuff is cool. Good.
When it's being like a drama or a comedy, it's like fucking shoot me in the face.
Yes. Holy shit.
Like that's the thing. Bad. Like Raimi as a director, you could still see like, yeah, he's talented, but the writing is so fucking bad. It doesn't matter because like no one should watch this movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like I think the first real taste of what you're talking about here is when things start kicking off and the murder happens. The first one, I can't remember if it was. I guess it's Odegaard. The place is called Trend Odegaard, Mr. Trend and Mr. Odegaard, and Odegaard is the one that gets killed. Mr. Trend set up, and I think that murder is awesome. Like that is legitimately kind of cool. Campbell says it in the commentary. Sam has a weird thing for like fucked up machine things, like little gadgets and stuff, and it works. That whole scene just in like the dark, and then the dark being split apart basically by the like arcing electricity, and that fucking psycho it's a cool part. And then it goes to a ballroom where Bruce Campbell is stiffing the bill for his stiffing his date that he's on with Nancy, or like leaving her with most of the bill.
He pays over half.
He pays $40 out of 76 or something like this. Yeah. And then goes and picks up another lady at the bar who falls for his shit. I think that is kind of funny. How like she falls for it, and then like him going to the coat check and not having a tip for them. That's good shit. Also, his whole so
that bit is okay.
What of it?
Yeah, that bit is actually fine, except that it ends with her making out with the main character out of like pure like pathetic self-loathing. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, fuck you, movie, though.
So the whole movie has this really bad undertone of you can browbeat a woman into liking you if you try hard enough.
It's like classic fucking nice guy horse shit.
It's really pathetic. I think the funniest culmination of it, and this is getting a little into like forward spoiler territory, is that even at the end when they're like married, she looks so like, what have I done with my life in that picture?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's actually kind of funny, but in a sick way that it's not supposed to be. Yeah. But yes, Victor sucks. And his whole thing is he's going to get Nancy to really like him, even though she says no a bunch of times and like to leave her alone, essentially. Not like in so many words, but like she obviously is showing she's not interested. And then he's there to help her wash dishes to pay for the tab. And then it's just like the classic, I'm like a hero, so I'll save you now. And the hero gets the girl sort of thing. Yeah, it's super lazy, tropey writing. And I think I would be more okay with it if, first of all, I don't know if it's Cherie Wilson, the actress's problem, they're writing for Nancy or what they're doing. But if like she was written to actually maybe pretend like she wanted it, like she liked him, then it would be kind of more okay. Or if it was done in a funny way, but it's kind of not. It's not funny, and it's not like consensual is like maybe a strong word, but it doesn't feel like she wants to be there. And
like I've seen movie, like I think I forget, it's like 3 Days of the Condor or something. It's a movie that's like the main relationship is completely fucked up, but like the two leads are just hot, so it's like the movie just gets by on that. It's like
it just makes sense, yeah. Well, I think Cherie Wilson is actually very pretty. I think she's super hot, actually.
But but Victor is such a fucking nerd piece of garbage. It comes off as such a power, and it's such a power fantasy nerd shit in like the worst way. That's like only aged worse over the years.
Yeah, he is like classic incel. Like, yeah, nice guy TM for sure. I mean, I was nice and helped you. I will have one sex, please, sort of thing.
Yeah,
yeah. And I don't know. That dance sequence is kind of fun. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but I kind of liked the cut from them dancing to them washing dishes and just being like, that was kind of fun. And then it ended with like him taking her home. Because of course it did. Anyways, so he takes her home and things have already kicked into kooky now. The two killers are out and about doing their thing. Specifically, we have to talk about Louise Lasser as Helene, the wife, and being attacked by the bigger dude. What's his name? Farron Crush, apparently is his name. Paul Smith's character. So at some point, he just grabs the carpet and starts pulling the whole apartment to her.
That part is actually fucking amazing. And the fact that, like, that dude is just fucking actually doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking weird. And apparently that whole part was, like, her looking scared and running away wasn't in the script. It was her, like, legitimately being like, this is kind of fucked up and trying to get away from him.
So they, like, literally didn't know how much of it, the room he was going to pull, be able to.
And it was everything.
And it was fucking everything.
It was everything. Yeah. Also, we get some like.
So like, and like, that's the exact kind of thing where like listening to the commentary, I like can appreciate that scene for what it is. Whereas like,
totally.
I'm so mad while watching the movie that I kind of like can't fully appreciate it.
Apparently he was like the biggest piece of shit to work with.
Yeah.
In this scene, there's like a point where he gets thrown into a wall or whatever, and apparently like Paul Smith, the actor himself, was like, I'm gonna break that fucking wall or whatever. And I really like the story of Bruce is like taking that as like he's going to try to break the wall and not like a warning, like, yo, if I hit this, I'm gonna break it because I'm a big dude. So he got the set design department to like holster up that wall as much as they could, so that when he smacked into it, he just like hurt himself basically trying to break it.
Yeah, he's like charging a door in the hotel hallway, and you can see that fucking wall like wobble, like the whole wall wobbles.
Yeah,
but he didn't break the whole wall.
Yeah, I just found that funny that like he's like, this motherfucker's gonna try to break it. I'll show him. So they just like shorted up a whole bunch. Yeah. Yeah. The story's about how he's just like, he got the job and is like, yeah, I'll do whatever. Or like, that's fine. And then just didn't want to be involved with anything. And was just kind of like a giant like douche about a bunch of stuff. Apparently like complained that they weren't getting enough food and then ate 2 pizzas by himself. Those stories are great, but it makes me really not like that guy. Yeah. I don't know. You're not supposed to like that character, at least. So kudos, I guess, for...
They fucking overdubbed his entire dialogue.
They
with
overdubbed
fucking
everything.
Cartoon fucking noises, basically.
Yeah. This whole movie is legitimately a 1.5 hour live action cartoon.
Totally.
And it's bad. It's just bad because of it. Yeah.
They could have made a fun cartoon. They just fucking didn't.
Yeah. I also found it kind of interesting that they were back on their shit about just like some of the stunts were super stupidly irresponsible. There's a stunt, kind of a stunt, but right after the part we're talking about where the Helene, the wife, runs out of the apartments to get away from Farron, she runs across the street while a truck drives by right after she passes past a mark at almost full speed, and Farron or Paul Smith running after her is supposed to like stop at the right time and kind of hit the side of the truck as if he almost gets hit by it. And that's a real truck, and that is like real timing that they had to do, and that's fucking stupid. Like,
yeah,
why?
Well,
are you?
That's the part of it where I'm like, I kind of don't blame Paul Smith for maybe not doing everything they wanted him to do, because they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to
like the
that.
stuff that they actually do and like have their stunt guys do is like fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Like actually, so
yeah.
I also kind of don't blame that dude if there was like stuff he said like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, without knowing the full story.
Yeah. And that's also kind of the problem, is that we're getting the production side, the friend of the director side. Mm-hmm. So who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know. I guess I kind of just decided I wanted to not like him.
Sure.
Because he seemed like kind of a douchebag. I don't know. I think
both
also,
can be true.
No, totally. And they have kind of a conversation about that too. So this was filmed in Detroit, and they wanted to get a bunch of Detroit actors, but because this movie had money and backing, they were pressured to bring Hollywood people in. And apparently the Hollywood people were the people that like they had to coax out of their trailer every day. Louis Lasser, as far as I know or read, had some definite problems. Like, I don't know if mentally or with drugs or whatever, like as a person. So there was a story he told about, he fired her, like she fired her makeup person, and then just like put a bunch of like clown makeup on and said like, they don't know how to do it. This is like better or whatever. Like just real diva-y type shit, but not in the like, if I don't get green M&Ms in one bowl and red M&Ms in another, I don't come out. More in the like, I'm kind of a psycho sort of thing, which kind of worked because she's really good in the part where she's being chased down and is screaming and running around and like active and stuff. Like she's really good at, there's like some great expressions she gives of just like the wide open mouth, the like a gape mouth, and just like screaming and stuff like that she's good at. But like anytime that she's not being kind of a caricature of a human being being chased around, she's kind of pointless, I think. Except in the best part of the movie, which after the truck scene happens, she runs into the security office and it becomes a Sam Raimi horror for about 10 minutes. And it's like legitimately actually great. So to set up the scene, she goes into a display room of a whole bunch of like really miniature rooms set up with like walls and doorways and stuff like that with different security systems in each one is the idea. But it's like a domino of displays and walls and just some amazing shots, like some great Dutch angles, great like overhead shot of her entering this place and kind of like following her through this, not really maze necessarily of doors that she goes through, but like a straight shot of like 20 doorways or whatever as she's being chased, and then them being used to like domino effect. She pushes them onto him and he's like running away after like breaking through a bunch of the doors or whatever, just trying to fit through the hole he created and just get squished. Like that whole part is
and that's one where like Paul Smith didn't want to do it, and then they had the stunt guy did it, and then the stunt guy like fucking tripped and got crushed and couldn't make it all the way.
Yeah. That stuff is like, I understand for sure.
Yeah.
Not wanting to like overdub your own voice is bullshit.
Well, I mean, that's just like, I'm not going to do more work on this movie or whatever.
I think so. Yeah. And it's
like when everyone hated you.
Yeah. It sounded like at that point, they didn't want to fight for it either because they just wanted it done.
Yeah. And they didn't want to deal with him either.
Yeah. Yeah. That part though is the type of thing that I would show somebody that on YouTube and it would make you want to watch that movie. Trust me when I say that's the only thing worth watching in that movie. That like, there's bits and pieces here and there. That's the only full sequence that's good. The classic Raimi shit. And it's really, I mean,
there's some good like, there's some good car crashes or whatever, but that's like standard movie stuff. So
yeah, Raimi likes his car crashes way too fucking much. He likes his car shit too much. His car, I said we were going to keep an eye out for it. It's featured prominently here. It's the main car in the whole movie. So, if you see somebody driving a car, it is probably the one. Just as
they have like a fucking duel on the roof of it as it precariously balances over the edge of a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, that part at least wasn't super dangerous because that's just like backing shots with stationary.
Well, except one of the guys, they wanted the spark, so the stunt guy was getting electrocuted like every time.
Yeah.
He was holding on.
Yeah, Sam Raimi wanted sparks when they had their little fight, so they had to put electricity through two metal objects that were being held by two dudes. That's just so stupid. It's incredibly dumb. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say. There's not like a whole lot play-by-play wise to talk about with this movie because it's super basic. Just after the scene I talked about, the Nancy gets that whole scene. Nancy gets like kidnapped type thing by Arthur, one of the creepier like little rat-faced fucker out of the two killers, and he's just like holding her mouth shut while like our main character Victor is trying to like talk to her in another room or whatever. And that whole scene, first of all, is like 10 minutes long. It felt like it took forever to get through.
Yeah.
And it's creepy in a way that I didn't like. I really didn't like that scene.
Well, when your protagonist is rapey, you got to make your villains even rapier.
The thing is that there's no good way to say this. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a villain being rapey because we're supposed to hate him. Like, yeah, I get it. He's a giant piece of shit. This makes sense for him to kind of like be in her apartment and like holding her against her will or something. I don't want both characters in this situation, the good and the bad guy, to kind of have that same ish feel.
But also, like, I'm okay with that if like your movie is like thoughtfully good and not when it's like a fucking cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, there is a
like this movie,
you handle it.
Like the level of like they're clearly working at with the writing is like, you know, if this were a fun time, but like that shit makes it not a fun time.
Sure. Yeah, no, for sure. And then she gets away. There's a car chase, and it all kind of wraps back around where he steps up and becomes the hero, fights off both of the hired killers, the exterminators or whatever. They fall off a bridge together while he's like he saves her from falling off a bridge. And then that's kind of the last she saw of him. And then That's like his whole story, and it's like a minute to midnight or whatever. Some nuns bus that we saw driving at the very beginning of the movie, like really crazily down the road, bust in, and it's her. Apparently she like met up with a convent or something of nuns. She was about to take her oath of eternal silence when she heard on the news that Victor Ajax was about to be executed for, I think they even say, a crime he didn't commit. I think that like type of joke is funny, where people like even refer to it as like the crime he didn't commit and stuff like that. The governor comes in like right as he's about to be electrocuted. He's like, "Wait, all right, thank God, I didn't miss it." He just sits down and gets ready to watch. Like shit like that. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
there's some good comedy there. And then the end is pretty great, where they're like, okay, well, that's one person. Can anybody corroborate her story? And they look at the nuns and they are all like shaking their head yes. And then they realize they took their oath of eternal silence, so they can't speak. And the next thing we get is like the electricity going off and the newspaper spinning saying hero murdered or hero executed or something. And then it just like scrolls down on the newspaper to say almost or just some dumb shit like that. Nuns break 20 years silence. That gag is great too. Like there's some good shit there. So there's comedic chops in there, and that stuff works way better when we get to the Evil Dead stuff, because that that mixture is way better there. But I think
also, and like all that wraparound was like the studio made them add that afterwards. That was all shot later.
Yeah, that was all.
Like originally, the movie wasn't gonna have any of that stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird how that works out. Yeah, man, I don't know. I find the stuff that's I actually find the wraparound funny, honestly. Like, I think that stuff is pretty decent. I find the scene in the security display, like, hallway, I found that, like, awesome. And I just kind of hate every other moment that isn't Bruce Campbell. Just straight up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I watched a movie so short that felt so long, though, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, if we weren't doing this podcast, like, there is no way I would make it through that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I paused and, like, did something else, like, every 10 minutes or whatever. Like,
oh, did you?
Yeah, like, I couldn't.
I kind of wish I had done. I just sat through the fucker.
I couldn't do it.
I just sat through it.
I sat through the whole commentary was easy to sit through. Like, just played a couple of games of HOTS, but
I thought the commentary was good. I thought it was. Yeah, it was way more entertaining
because he was just talking the whole time.
Yeah,
like constantly telling stories.
Yeah,
like the guy even who was like with him there barely had to like ask him any questions even.
Yeah. This is a movie that nobody involved in it will tell you or talk about, apparently, either. Like, I know I haven't heard them talk about it or really, but that commentary track really drove it home that this is, I think, as Campbell put it, one of those like lost movies or whatever on people's resumes that they just either don't put on their resumes or don't talk about what happened because it was just kind of like a blip to them and it was just so bad. Apparently, like, Sam hates this movie. I'm sure the Coen brothers aren't crazy about it.
Yeah. Well, like, it just sounds like it was a bad time and like fucking nobody watched this movie. Like, its box office was like $5,000. On like a $2.5 million budget. Like,
yeah,
goddamn.
You're right. It's $5,101. That's so good. Oh my God. That is so fucking good. And yeah, $2.5 million. That's insane. In 1985 as well. Or not, I guess 83 is when they made it. 85 is when it came out. I guess I do have to kind of admit though, I get kind of a weird sense of like entitlement, just being like, yeah, oh, you like Evil Dead? Have you watched Crimewave? No, I don't care what your opinion is. You're not a Raimi fan. Like, at least we have that now, you know? Like, we ate our vegetables, so now dessert is going to taste that much sweeter.
I now know where Bruce Campbell's thing of acting like a jerk, what project it started with.
Yeah. Man, he really looks like just a douche when he was younger in this. God, he does douche so well.
It just fits him so much better than like the nerd persona.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I guess another thing.
Like, I'm glad this got the fucking nerd hero out of Sam Raimi's system.
Totally. Yeah. Oh man.
Like, never doing that again. That
he would have been
maybe.
bad in that role too, I think.
Oh.
Like that role would have just been bad for him too.
I guess until like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I guess, is nerd hero.
Also, Raimi hates hands. 2 counts of Arthur reaching in the glove box for some cool cigarettes, and then
product placement.
Cool, yeah.
Although apparently only product placement so that the cast and crew could have boxes of cool cigarettes. They didn't get paid in money.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like the fucking worst.
That's insane. They just gave product. Yeah, we'll pay you an exposure. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But he gets his hands crushed twice by Farron. So Sam Raimi hand hate stays true here. Also, I think it's the main character. Yeah, Victor gets hit in the eye like 5 times. It's kind of a recurring gag where they keep like hitting his eye. But again, Raimi hates eyeballs. There you go. I'm trying to keep track of some things that he does in all of these. Yeah, I think I'm pretty done talking about this thing, though. I kind of want to forget it.
There's like that one car stunt that I remember Bruce Campbell talking about, where like the stunt guy like just grabbed the camera and like literally like jumped off the car with a bungee cord or something.
Oh, for the end chase. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like fucking insane shit.
Yeah. I mean, the commentary track's also good for those moments that you'll never catch because you don't know, but there's like, I really like the behind the scenes stuff, specifically because of how the building was or whatever. All the inside shots in one part were filmed in the actual like hotel building that they were shooting at, but they needed the image of Victor standing across the street from the security place in the like foyer or whatever. So that was actually just in like a 4x4 box that didn't really actually have any lobby or room or whatever, just to get that shot, and they kind of spliced it together so it looked like it was in the same building. I just like that stuff, and that's the only stuff you would get while watching the commentary and listening to that.
And like, you know, just the like era of filmmaking where all your stunts and shit where it's like people doing stuff. So the story, it's just someone explaining what went into that shit is always so fucking good.
Yeah. This is not a movie by any means I recommend anybody to watch. However, if you're going to, just watch it with that commentary. You're not missing out on like amazing dialogue or anything.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Yeah. And then there are visually cool things going on in that movie. There just are. And Bruce Campbell shooting the shit, talking about that era and kind of like how they filmed some different scenes. And just kind of random stuff. There's even like parts where I can't remember which filmmaker he talks with, but the dude he's talking with also says like, so how did like the Coen brothers become involved? So you get like some background there too. I think that is, if you're going to watch this thing as kind of a time capsule, make sure you have that on. It makes it so much better.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
I honestly find it wild that Raimi and the Coen brothers ever worked together again after this was such a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
And such a commercial failure for them.
I mean,
though, like I mean,
careers.
Yeah, like the Coen brothers like only like wrote their own movies for like decades after this.
Yeah,
for like 20 years or something,
and it worked out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So
the next time they worked together, Sam Raimi helped write Hudsucker Proxy with them.
Also, Hudsucker is one of the things in here as well. I can't remember. I think it's like the name of the penitentiary or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the commentary, one of the questions asked was to Bruce at around the end is, so with like this kind of being the failure it is or whatever, how do you guys like lick your wounds and you say, let's do Evil Dead, or Evil Dead 2 or whatever, move on? And Bruce Campbell just straight out said, because we had to, because we thought we were never going to work in this industry again if we didn't keep moving. And I think he's 100% right.
Totally.
Around this time, The Evil Dead got some good reviews from Stephen King, and it was Stephen King's endorsement that made people pay attention to that and kind of gave that series or that movie kind of a following, a seriousness to it that allowed people and investors to allow them to start up Evil Dead 2 production and like talks about that. So Evil Dead 2 following up on this was kind of the Hail Mary, like we got to do something, otherwise the dream ends here. And yeah, I'm glad they did, because I really need to wash this out of my memory banks. And that movie is going to do it.
Yes. That is a leave everything on the field kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good because of it.
Yep.
Like, what if we just less dialogue?
Yeah, and more like just skeletons dancing. Like, I don't know, just random shit.
What if just everything laughed?
Totally. What if everything said "Dead by Dawn" 1,000 times? Just over and over.
That's definitely better dialogue than Crimewave.
What if just everything laughed? Exactly. What if we put that Oldsmobile Delta 88 in there?
Kind of amazing he didn't think about his car as cursed after that movie. After this movie. Just like anything that touched Crimewave is cursed. But
yeah. Oh, fuck. Dude. Like, that means we're cursed now. I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like, this is the last one. Everything after this is watchable, at least. And I apologized profusely.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine making somebody else watch this. But yeah, I'm excited to watch Evil Dead 2 again. That movie's good.
I am so fucking excited. All right. Well, I think that's a good time to end, because I think we got desynced somewhere along the way.
All right. Peace.
All right, see ya.